Nowadays, I see lots of money playing a role in the hosting industry. It's not so natural. There were no hosting companies at that time. If you need hosting, you have to buy it abroad. In Bulgaria, you can't purchase hosting from anywhere. There isn't such a company. Some years later, we decided that we have more experience and we want to provide our services to more people. That's when we established the Scalahosting brand, which is nowadays serving customers from more than 120 countries all over the world. It is a dream come true. The people at that time were more connected to the service and to what they are doing. It was part of their life. Very passionate to build the best web hosting service, to configure everything in the most advanced way so that everything is so efficient. Our focus is not money. Our focus is to be helpful and to be useful to people, because that is why a company exists. No matter if it is a hosting company or a company operating in another industry, the end goal is to build something valuable and provide it to people. After being in this industry for like 23 years, there isn't anything we can do in terms of hosting the environment.
My guest is Vlad Georgiev, the co-founder and CTO of Scalahosting and SPanel, where he leads technological innovations that make web hosting more efficient, secure, and user-friendly. With over 20 years in the industry, he's built a career around simplifying server management and pushing the boundaries of what's possible online. We talk about Vlad's early start in hosting, how the industry has changed since the early 2000s, and why customer happiness is his main strategy and the reason his company keeps succeeding. Before we move on, a huge thank you to our sponsors: NameHero, Extendify, Monarchs, PatchStack, and Panel Alpha. Thanks to their support, we can keep pushing web hosting today forward. If you'd like to join them and help us grow even more, just reach out. And Vlad, thank you for joining. And let's start with the basic questions as with every guest. Tell me about your story. How did you get into the web hosting industry? And also tell me, when was it? Because it's been some years, right?
Well, it has been many, many years ago. I was really small, like 13 years old, when I firstly found that web hosting exists. I have already built my first website, which never got published online. But I figured that to publish a website online so everyone can see it, I must have hosting. 1 year later, I was playing with setting up my own web server, installing it on my personal computer with limited access to the internet, of course, not working 24/7, but a web server with PHP and DNS resolution and everything configured. That's when my passion for managing servers and for web hosting started. And that's when I understood that's what I'm going to do till the end of my life.
What years are we talking about?
Yeah, it was about year 2000. In 2002, I already had my own hosting company established, and I was following my dream.
Okay. Making your first company, right?
Yeah.
What was the industry back then? I mean, I've joined the industry in 2009 as a programmer, and I founded my company in 2011. So I don't even know what was. I was 10 at 2000. So what was the industry back then? Like, what was going on?
It was the funniest time of my life in the industry, actually. Maybe because I was younger, and I remember so many times I'm at school and I I I get a call from a customer saying, "I have this problem, please. What could you please help to fix it?" And then once the the lesson ends, and in the middle there is a break, between lessons, I go home, resolve the issue, and back to school. It was very funny. But in terms of the hosting industry at that time, the technology was not as advanced as it is today, and it was very often that all of the servers, there was no RAID, and the operating system and the sites and everything was functioning from a single drive. And when that drive fails, You have to reinstall and restore everything from backups. It was really, really annoying process. Nowadays, we don't have such problems, which is great. But it was a great fun. And at that time, the most funny thing was that I knew lots of web hosting company owners. Also, some of the ones, they are no longer in the industry, but I don't want to mention other companies. But the founders of really big names who were the biggest names in the industry at that time. And all those people were so passionate about what they are doing. They were loving managing servers and doing hosting. Nowadays, it's hard to find such people. For me, that is one of the biggest differences. And really, it was an amazing experience at that time, because everyone in the hosting industry who was an owner of a company or a reseller, they were so excited about it, very passionate to
Yeah.
build the best web hosting service, to configure everything in the most advanced way so that everything is so efficient. And really, configurations made a difference, a huge difference at that time, when your hard disk may write data with 3 megabytes per second and not 2
Yeah.
gigabytes per second as it is today. So that is
Yeah.
the biggest difference compared to now. The technology and the people at that time were more connected to the service and to what they are doing. It was part of their life. Nowadays, I see lots of money playing a role in the hosting industry, which is changing it to in a way that is not, I don't like personally so much, because it's not so natural and so well connected to people to be happy with what they are doing. Everyone must be happy with what they are doing and to be passionate about it. To go to bed with that idea, to wake up with that idea. It's very hard to see that nowadays, but for me, it's like that still. So I'm very happy.
Okay, so your first company, your first hosting company, was Scalahosting evolving from that company, or what happened there?
Yes, Scalahosting was the result of the experience I built in that company. The company, that is the first company in Bulgaria, which is selling web hosting. There were no hosting companies at that time. If you need hosting, you have to buy it abroad. In Bulgaria, you can't purchase hosting from anywhere. There isn't such a company. So basically, it's not just me. We are three founders of the Bulgarian company. And that was the first company in Bulgaria. And some years later, like 5 years later, we decided that we have more experience and we want to provide our services to more people, not only to people in Bulgaria. That's when we established the Scala hosting brand, which is nowadays serving customers from more than 120 countries all over the world. It is a dream come true, really, the US dream coming true for me personally, because we started like something that is not a real data center. It's not a data center at all. And then nowadays we have modern data centers in New York, in Dallas, in Seattle, in Europe, all over the place, with technology that is cannot compare with what was in the past back then. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to help people from all over the world, not just locally.
Absolutely, yeah. So tell me more about Scala hosting. What is it famous about? I've seen, for example, reviews on Trustpilot. It was like 4.9 out of over 2,000 reviews, which is, I don't think you can buy that. It is some benchmark that you can look at. So how is your company unique compared to others? Like, why is Scala hosting so successful? What's the unique selling point of your company?
With us, there is no selling point. The whole team, that is part of their life. Everyone here in this team behind Scala hosting is passionate about what they are doing. This is the result. Our focus is not money. Our focus is to be helpful and to be useful to people, because that is why a company exists. No matter if it is a hosting company or a company operating in another industry, the end goal of a company is to build something valuable and provide it to people. And our customers are so happy with what we are doing for them, because our focus is their happiness. Our focus is not to sell more. Our focus is their happiness. And whenever someone comes to ask for help or for whatever it is, we have an internal procedure where we could never say no to a customer anywhere in a ticket or on a chat, on any communication. We need to try to do anything we can before we surrender and say we are not able to do that. What this means in practice? In practice, this means we have several layers of escalation from the different departments, no matter if it is technical support or billing or sales or whatever department that's communicating with the client. We have such a policy that if someone is not able to help the client, then they escalate it to someone else. And the policy is that I am the last resort. If something cannot be sorted out by anyone in the company, then it is escalated to me. And if I'm not able to sort it out for them and find a solution, then I tell the client what we did, what happened, and so on, and what is the final result. But we did everything we can to provide the solution. That's how we work. We very often get requests for customers that have custom requirements because every business is unique. Every business has its own requirements so that things in the hosting environment work in the way they want them to work. So we do that extra mile for them. We go that extra mile and we set it up so that it fits the hosting, fits the customer business, and not the other way around.
Okay.
What I see in the industry is most businesses, they try to adapt the hosting to the customer. We adapt the needs of the customer. Actually, we adapt the hosting service to the needs of the customer. And most companies, they want to do it the other way. They want, this is the way we provide the service. You need to adapt to it. If you can't adapt to it, go find something else. We don't do it that way. We try to be a solution and to find a solution to every person, because after being in this industry for like 23 years, there isn't anything we can do in terms of hosting the environment.
But so you're saying that there's a big part of your clients who have a little different needs than from a typical web hosting company? Like, who's your typical client then? Why is it that there are issues like that coming up?
Our typical clients are mainly developers, web agencies, people building websites, webmasters, then also website owners of growing businesses who need scalability, who need high performance. These are most of our clients are like that. I can tell you about one case, which is the biggest project we ever hosted. That is the project for the government of the Philippines about the last presidential elections they had. They came to us they wanted a managed cluster solution that is very scalable, where they can host a Moodle learning platform so that all of the staff members which are involved in the presidential elections can learn how to perform the elections process. That platform on the busiest days was handling over 120 million visits daily. That was a custom managed cluster we designed and supported for them until the project ended in 2 data centers in the New York and Dallas data center, because it was a government project and they had a requirement that there may be attacks, there may be hacking attacks also, and the DOS attacks, and the system must be online all the time. So we built a multi-data center cluster between Dallas and New York, and we had 100% uptime of the system for the whole period of the project. There were times that we were adding 16 to 20 servers in the day to handle the additional load, because government, they don't care about servers until the server will be able to handle the traffic. So they decided to add 1,000 people more to use the Moodle system and to learn at the peak times. 300,000 of employees were using the Moodle platform at the same time.
Wow.
So I was 24/7 contact for them because they had that requirement, and I said, okay, for such a big project, we never hosted such a busy system. So I will be a 24/7 contact for you. So they called me during the night and say, Vlad, the system is slowing. We need to upgrade because today we are adding some thousands of people to start learning the system. We told the government that they can't do it this way. They have to inform us beforehand. No one is informing them beforehand. And we need in hours to have much more scalability and capabilities in terms of server resources.
Mm-hmm.
So I wake up in the evening, add 10, 15 more servers to the cluster. It was a complex setup. They had multiple layers. They had web servers. They had a
Mm-hmm.
database server layer. They had a caching layer. They had load balancing layer. This in the two locations. And if something happens to location A, location B must know to avoid the split brain condition. It is who has experience with clustering, he will know all the struggles that you have to think about and configure to make this thing function in a good way. So this is the custom type of things we prepare for people. And that customer, they went to, I won't mention names, the biggest providers who everyone knows in the industry. No one of those companies provided them a solution. They said, we can't do that. Here is a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
servers, you do what you want. They needed a managed cluster which can scale
Yeah.
whenever they need. So that's what we built for them, and they were very happy.
All right, but that's not your typical customer,
No,
I
not
would
a
imagine,
typical.
right?
Not
It's
that was the only
in
yeah.
mass, like looking at the average or the mass customers. Who are they then?
Most of the customers, those are people with online stores that get a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more load, and they need performance. They need adequate technical support, real people. We do not use
Mm-hmm.
AI in terms of our customers to talk to AI. Our customers talk to
Mm-hmm.
people, and we tend to call ourselves the human hosting company because it is
Yeah.
powered by humans. We use AI to automate our internal stuff and to be more efficient, but we don't give AI to communicate to our customers, to our
Okay.
people, because we want to keep the human factor. This is really important for us. We want to keep it.
It's actually very funny because, well, I guess we'll talk about AI a little later, but it's actually a funny trend that I hear more and more that we are not providing AI, and this is our advantage against the competition. So it's like the complete opposite of what many companies, corporations are trying to achieve with AI. It's like getting against the current, and we are not providing AI. It's our thing. So you were able to create a Scala hosting out of Bulgaria. You said that you've get out of Bulgaria and then provided your services worldwide. You have now data centers all around the world. Was it difficult for a Bulgarian company to do that? Because I ask because we are, Poland. I'm from Poland. It's also part of the Eastern Europe that has been a little behind the rest of the Western world in terms of like financial possibilities, right? And it's still not easy to get funding for startup or a big project like it is in Western Europe, or not to even mention USA. So what was your experience and how did you get
For
through
me
that?
personally, it's been very easy. It's been very, very easy and great fun because I was doing what I love doing. So no issues at all. No issues at all. It
Okay.
was a great experience. I know where we started from with a single server, with a Pentium CPU at 2.4 gigahertz and 512 megabytes of RAM, and running Red Hat 7.3, but not the modern Red Hat 7 version. There was an older one when Red Hat was open source and it was free.
Uh-huh.
That Red Hat version at that time, and where we are today. It was really a very, very nice experience for me because my focus was never on the how many customers we got, not on how much money we'll get out of it. My focus was on having fun and build a better hosting service and see happy customers. It wasn't hard at all, but it's not a single person effort. Over time,
Mm-hmm.
we built a team with people that loved web hosting as much as me, and it was a great, great pleasure to be with them in this journey. So when someone loves what they're doing, can't there is no way not to succeed. It's impossible.
Okay, so maybe a different way. Was the scaling of your company to go worldwide? Were you raising funds? Were you raising or were you getting some extra funding to get to the data center in the US, or was it just going gradually and organically?
Well, Scalahosting, the initial investment in launching Scalahosting, it was $3,000. That was the investment.
Okay.
From that, we built what we have now. It took many years, but our intention was never the money was not the goal, never. We wanted our service because we had experience and we thought that we can help a lot more people than just the local people in Bulgaria. That's we started with Scala hosting. We just wanted to allow more people to be able to use what we are building for them. And our craft was the web hosting service, the managed web hosting service. That was where our focus was on. It wasn't money. So we never looked for such investors or stuff like that. Maybe that is our weakest point. We are not very good in marketing and investments and stuff like that. We are not very good in that. But in managed hosting services, we are doing our best.
Okay, so in other words, it grew
Naturally.
organically, right? It was just not like you took a big loan for hundreds of millions of dollars to get it on. Okay, that's pretty interesting. But okay, so I wanted to talk about SPanel. It's your own control panel. I think you are also offering it to others, right? But maybe not in a large scale, as far as I know. But first of all, why have you decided to make SPanel? And another question is, how is it different from the other solutions on the market?
Well, we didn't start developing SPanel because we wanted. Our customers made us start doing that because they needed things we cannot offer using cPanel. That's why we were forced to start developing something that we will be able to fit the needs of our customers. That's why we started developing SPanel.
What features, by the way, if I may ask?
One of the features was the Nginx integration. I still remember the Nginx request in the cPanel, in the features.cPanel, their feature suggestion platform was like 7 years old, and no one started developing that, no one doing anything in there, and tons of people coming, and we are installing on the cPanel servers Nginx manually and trying with different automation developed by us so that it works on cPanel. Then we finally said, okay, this is not going to work like that. At that time, I decided for myself, I'll try to build it myself and provide the people a fully managed cloud VPS at a price that is the same as shared hosting. Then I thought everyone will switch. Why not? If it is the same price, that's what we did. The first version of SPanel, it didn't have a graphic interface. It was a couple of bash scripts, but they had all the functionality. Nginx support, Let's Encrypt SSL certificates, everything was in there. Everything a person needs, but no graphic interface. They need to add a new email address. They need to contact us and we add it for them. And that were the first days. Then later, we also made it as guest B because people liked it very much. And after the first version of the graphic interface was released, there was no brainer. There were no questions at all. Everyone wanted to be on SPanel. So we continued with it. And nowadays, out of 100 cloud servers with a control panel, managed cloud hosting services, 97 of them choose SPanel.
Okay, 97%, which is actually interesting because we've seen, we are also playing with some control panels ourselves, right? And it seems like there is huge pressure from the customers that I want cPanel. I only know cPanel. I don't know anything else. Didn't you have any experiences like that?
No, not at all. Once someone sees SPanel and experiences for the first time, they are not looking back. We had like 2, 3 that we switched back from SPanel to cPanel out of thousands servers. So yeah,
Okay, so
everyone
good
has
scale.
everyone has his own appearance, thoughts, and needs, and so on. So we let them choose. We offer both SPanel and cPanel. They can decide what they want. Once they see SPanel though, and that's why 97% of them they choose SPanel. That's what they do. I'm not telling anything. That's what
Mm-hmm.
customers do, and I'm telling you what is the end result.
Yeah,
We are
because
not
I
forcing
guess
anyone
the
to
most.
go anywhere. We don't tell
Mhm.
them, oh no, don't use cPanel, SPanel is better. No. We are even more profitable if they choose cPanel. We'll get more money because we have a small increase over the price that we get from cPanel as a
Mhm.
partner, as their partner.
Yeah.
So if they choose and select cPanel for their server, we get more money out of them. We don't tell them
Mhm.
anything what to choose. The end result is they choose
Okay.
SPanel.
Okay. What are the plans for Scalahosting for the next couple of years? Of course, as much as you can say, but what's your plan for the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years?
Our plan is the same, to continue doing what we have been doing in the last 22 years in web hosting, and that is to be useful to people who use web hosting services. That's it, nothing else.
So don't you see any trends in the industry? Something is changing, like from your perspective or from your customer's perspective, like in terms of technologies or in terms of new
Yeah,
setups,
yeah.
or
Of
can you
of
tell more
course,
about that?
the industry is going uphill, especially with the cloud services. Now everything is much more technological, so we use all that, and we use the latest hardware. We are among a very small amount of companies, maybe less than 2%, which use the most powerful AMD EPIC CPUs, which burst up over 4 gigahertz, which is bringing, you can't get the same performance, the same CPU performance in any other managed hosting company in the world right now, from the biggest players that everyone knows. If you compare them to Scalahosting, we will be 20, 30 or more percent faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in terms of technology, we are using the latest technology. With SPanel,
Okay.
the other features in SPanel that are coming, they are coming because our customers want those features. It's not something that we invent. We listen to what they need, and we listen to them and actually do what they need, because there is a big difference. There are many companies that listen to the customers, but then at the end up doing something that will eventually get them more money, and is in no way focused on getting what the customer wants. Everything
Mm-hmm.
in SPanel is free. Nothing costs extra. We have no upsells anywhere. We have no
Okay.
upselling anywhere. So that's how we want to be. We want to be a human hosting company with the happiest customers that that we have the possibility to have. We are doing everything we can so that the people working with us, to feel happy and to feel taken care of. I think that is why we exist. And that is why we
Mm-hmm.
started doing hosting in 2002.
So what about AI? Do you guys plan or implement any AI in your company? I know, yeah, you've mentioned about the no chatbots and providing human support, but aren't you using it for anything for the customers to make it easier for them? Or maybe do you plan to do that? What do you think overall about AI and the impact on this industry?
AI has a huge positive impact on everything, not only web hosting, on everything. We use it extensively from the start, but we use it to become better and to provide and build a better service for the clients. However, we don't use AI to communicate with customers so that we can have a lower cost for salaries or something like that. We
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
keep the human touch. We want
Mm-hmm.
to keep the human touch with the person talking to us, but we'll use AI to make the service better and to make us more efficient. Because with AI, we do a lot more. I'm much more efficient when I do the project management of every new feature in SPanel that I'm about to start working on, and also the other members in the team. We use AI to do researches, to do it
Mm-hmm.
in the best way that people will expect to use that functionality. That's how we use AI. And AI helped us significantly in that we are now much faster in developing new features. It is much faster to do QA and also to know what the people really need. That's how we use AI.
Okay. So very broad question, but what do you think about the future of the industry? What do you think will be just in general happening around in the next couple of years? Do you have like any idea or like a bet?
Maybe I can just share my thoughts about it and nothing more. I
Absolutely.
don't think there is a person in the universe that can say what's going to happen in 3 years. I don't think such a person
Exactly. Nobody
exists.
knows exactly, but some people have some bets.
I think that AI will be becoming more stronger and stronger. As a result of that, people will be much more efficient. Technology will be increasing and growing a lot, and in the next couple of years, it will make people's lives much easier, much easier, much easier with all of these technological improvements. I think that it will make them happier too, because they can't get manipulated or confused. That nice bot, it always tells the truth, which is not valid for the human beings. Sometimes they won't tell you the truth. Sometimes they'll do it on purpose. Sometimes they'll do it because they don't know. But the bot, it has all of the information. And based on that, it will always tell you what it thinks is the truth. So I find it very positive, and it will make people's lives much easier in the long run. In the web hosting industry specifically, it will also make things better and easier to operate and everything. But one thing I'll personally stick to, and in our team and company, we'll keep the company human, because at the end of the day, we are all humans. AI is here to help us, to make our life easier, but not to replace it. I'm not replacing real people with AI in under no conditions.
That's exactly my pitch for Conrado AI. Not replace people, just make them much more efficient. And
Exactly.
the result is the result is positive for everyone involved.
Yeah, so we are on the same we are on the same page with you. Yeah, same philosophy. Yeah, that's how it has to be. At the top is the human life. That is the only gift that we have in life. And then everything else is to help this life grow and expand. AI is a tool for us to expand, not to replace us, not to replace life.
I think the same. I have just one more question, I think, is so I clearly see that you are very dedicated and focused on customer success, or like customer satisfaction is the result, right? But you are willing and you have your company oriented for helping customer to get what they need and through the technology, right? Do you think it's the recipe for success now in the industry that has been, as you said, dominated by finance guys, that by the finance organizations that are just, acquiring companies, putting them into the procedures, and not really like customer success is much lower on their priority list, right? Number one is to be growing, getting as much money as possible for the shareholders, and less about getting customer happy. So do you think like your philosophy will get through this? Do you think it's the way to go, or do you think in the long run it's I don't know, it's going to be difficult?
Well, first of all, we need to ask ourselves what is success? Success is something that is defined by every human being for themselves. For one person, it is money. For another person, it is power. For a third person, it is something else. Everyone can have their own definition for success. My definition for success is to expand. What I mean with expand, become a better version of myself. Every 6 months, I am better than the previous version of the previous 6 months. How am I better? I am better, and that is defined by how I help other people. That is how I define success for myself. For myself, success is to see people happy, that we help them, and they are happy with what we have done for them. For me, success is to see and talk to young people that are just starting in the hosting industry and want to become Linux system administrators, and they can't go to sleep because they want to see how this Linux works and how to configure the PHP services so that they process the code in a more efficient way, and all that. That is success for me. Talking to such people is a great joy that cannot be replaced with any amount of money on this earth or anything else. So we are already successful. Already, for me personally, have what I needed in life, and it is to be as useful as possible to as many people as possible. That's what it is at the moment, but I don't have a goal. I have to be able to help 10 million people, 10 millions of people, or 50 millions. There is no such a goal. For me, I'm
Mhm.
okay to help one people per day. That is enough for me, but at least one. There
Okay.
isn't, we don't have some philosophy that most founders will telling that we have to grow this year, we have to double the revenue. This is really hard on my brain.
Not your
I don't
language.
like I don't like thinking about this. What I care is at the end of the day, are all our customers happy? Is there anyone without their issue being sorted out? Is there someone unhappy? But not only from clients, but also from the team members, because we are one family. We, with the customers and our partners and everyone we talk to, we are all partners, and everyone must feel happy and well with what they are doing and how they are spending their time. That's my main role in the company, except from trying to build the best hosting solution and the technology to a step that is satisfactory to the people using it. I'm trying to keep the balance so that everyone is happy. The customers, the staff members, the partners, the everyone we work with, everyone must be happy. There must be no human being unhappy. Everyone must have a smile on their face.
Let's end with that then. Thank you for the interview, Vlad. Congratulations on building such a successful company. I know I've seen so many reviews that you are succeeding in your primary goal to make people happy. And yeah, good luck on expanding yourself and the company further through good stuff.
Thanks, Conrad. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation with you, and hopefully it is also useful to the people who will watch it.
Thank you.